In a dimly lit alley in a foreign city, Sarah felt a chill that had nothing to do with the evening air. For men, their uniforms marking them as local soldiers had blocked her path. Their smiles were anything but friendly. Her heart pounded against her ribs, a frantic drumbeat of fear. She clutched her purse, her knuckles white, her mind racing for an escape that wasn't there. The men closed in, their words a menacing blur of a language she didn't understand. Trapped. The world seemed to shrink to just this grimy, terrifying space. Just as a hand reached for her arm, a calm voice cut through the tension. "Is there a problem here?" The voice was American, steady and confident. Sarah's head snapped up. Standing at the alley's entrance was a man she hadn't noticed before. He wasn't particularly tall or bulky, dressed in simple civilian clothes, but he carried an aura of absolute stillness, an unnerving calm in the face of the 4 aggressive soldiers. He looked at Sarah, then at the men, his eyes missing nothing. The soldiers turned, annoyed by the interruption. One of them barked a reply in his native tongue, waving a dismissive hand. The message was clear. Get lost. The stranger didn't move. He simply repeated his question, his tone a little firmer this time. I asked if there's a problem. He took a single, deliberate step into the alley. That's when the soldiers seemed to truly size him up. Maybe it was the way he stood, perfectly balanced. Maybe it was the unwavering intensity in his gaze. Whatever it was, it gave them a moment's pause. One of the soldiers, likely the leader, took a step towards the American, puffing out his chest in a show of dominance. He spat a few harsh words, gesturing aggressively. The American's expression didn't change, but his body coiled, a subtle shift that Sarah could feel more than see. He was like a predator, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. The air crackled with anticipation. The leader made his mistake. He lunged, reaching not for the stranger, but for Sarah. It was a foolish, arrogant move. What happened next was a blur of motion so fast, so precise, it defied belief. The American moved with an economy of force that was breathtaking. As the soldier's hand shot out, the stranger sidestepped, his own hand deflecting the arm with a sharp, controlled strike. In the same fluid motion, he twisted, using the soldier's momentum against him. There was a dull thud as the leader was slammed against the brick wall, slumping to the ground, dazed and groaning. The other 3 were stunned for a fraction of a second. But that was all the time the American needed. He didn't wait for them to regroup. He flowed towards the next one, his movements a symphony of controlled power. A quick jab to the throat, an elbow to the solar plexus. The second soldier folded, gasping for air. The third swung wildly, a clumsy punch that the stranger ducked under with ease. He came up from below, delivering a series of rapid-fire strikes to the man's ribs and side. The soldier stumbled back, clutching his torso in agony. The last man, seeing his friends dispatched with such brutal efficiency, hesitated. Fear flickered in his eyes. He fumbled for the sidearm on his hip, a desperate, panicked move. But the American was already on him. He closed the distance in a single bound, his hand clamping down on the soldier's wrist, twisting it with surgical precision. The gun clattered to the cobblestones. A sharp, powerful knee strike followed, and the 4th man collapsed. The entire confrontation, from the first move to the last, had taken less than a minute. The alley was suddenly silent, save for the groans of the defeated men. The stranger stood in the center of the chaos he had created, breathing calmly, as if he'd just completed a routine exercise. He turned to Sarah, his expression softening slightly. "Are you okay, ma'am?" Sarah could only nod, her voice caught in her throat. She stared at the man who'd appeared out of nowhere like a guardian angel. He bent down and picked up the dropped handgun, expertly ejecting the magazine and clearing the chamber before tucking the noiseless weapon into his own waistband. He then walked over to Sarah, placing a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "Let's get you out of here." He guided her out of the alley and onto the better-lit main street. As they walked, she finally found her voice. Who are you? How did you do that?" He gave her a small, tight smile. "Just a guy who doesn't like to see people get bullied. My name's Marcus." He didn't elaborate. He didn't need to. Sarah looked at him, truly looked at him, and saw the quiet confidence, the discipline etched into his very posture. She saw the trident tattoo partially visible on his forearm. She might not have known his name a few minutes ago, but she knew what he was, a Navy SEAL. They reached her hotel, a small, safe haven in the bustling city. Marcus walked her all the way to the lobby. "You should be safe here," he said, his voice low and reassuring. "Stay in well-lit areas. Don't walk alone at night." It was simple advice, but coming from him, it carried immense weight. "Thank you," Sarah said, her voice filled with a depth of gratitude she couldn't fully express. "I don't know what would have happened if you hadn't." He just nodded. "Glad I was there. Take care of yourself." And with that, he turned and disappeared into the night, melting back into the shadows from which he had emerged. Sarah watched him go, her heart still beating fast. But this time it wasn't from fear. It was from awe. She had just witnessed firsthand the quiet professionalism and deadly capability of one of America's elite warriors. He wasn't looking for thanks or recognition. He was just a protector, a silent guardian moving through a dangerous world, ready to stand between the innocent and the predators who stalked the dark alleys. That night, Sarah slept soundly, knowing that heroes were real, and they didn't always wear capes. Sometimes, they just wear plain clothes and carry a quiet, unshakable resolve. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this story, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you don't miss our next video. We'll see you in the next one.